To explain DeFi 2.0, I will start by explaining DeFi 1.0. In brief, DeFi 2.0 is the second generation of DeFi protocols that seek to address the weaknesses of DeFi 1.0. DeFi 1.0 here referring to the first group of DeFi protocols ever to be implemented. DeFi is a blockchain-based technology that aims to eliminate banks and merchants from the control of money, financial products, and financial services. This effectively also eliminates the unnecessary fees charged by these middlemen. It further has made it easier to borrow or lend money. A transaction that would have otherwise taken weeks in the traditional banking system can now be completed in minutes. Some of the major weaknesses of DeFi 1.0 have been the challenge of maintaining long-term liquidity, scalability, security, and centralization. Perhaps the biggest headache of this has been liquidity. Liquidity in the context of DeFi is the availability of money for currency exchange, staking, borrowing, and lending. The first generation DeFi ensures liquidity by means of decentralized dApps like Uniswap, PancakeSwap, among others. For example, to ensure that there is always liquidity for uninterrupted exchange of cryptocurrencies, money is contributed to a pool by liquidity providers. Liquidity providers provide the currencies in a pair. A typical liquidity pool would be Ether and DAI pair. In that case, a liquidity provider would need an equal value of both ETH and DAI. Let's say there is $10 million worth of liquidity in a liquidity pool, but you only own $10,000 of that. What percentage is that? 0.1%. This is significant, and I'll explain that in a second. But first, traders using the liquidity to exchange Ether for DAI or DAI for Ether pay transaction fees just the same way it happens in the traditional currency exchange. All these fees go to liquidity providers and are proportionally shared depending on how much liquidity you control. By the way, liquidity pools, apart from being used for decentralized currency exchange, can also be used for lending and borrowing. The challenge of liquidity pools is their unsustainable incentivization mechanism. Let's see what that looks like. Liquidity providers are issued with LP tokens, which basically represents one stake in the pool. You can always redeem them for your stake in the pool to withdraw your money. But withdrawing your money would mean less liquidity. Less liquidity means high transaction fees. Nobody wants that. In any case, DeFi came to, among other things, lower transaction fees. So to avoid that, liquidity providers are allowed to stake their LP tokens to earn interest. Finally, liquidity providers have a reason to delay withdrawing their liquidity. The liquidity is earning transaction fees and LP tokens earning interest. Therein lies a problem. The LP tokens have unlimited supply, so their value keeps on decreasing. The value can potentially go to zero. So basically, using LP tokens for incentivization does not work. But LP tokens incentivization is not the only shortcoming of DeFi 1.0. Let's now say you're a liquidity provider and you own 50% of the pool. In cryptocurrency, there's even a word for you, a whale, meaning you own a large amount. If for whatever reasons you decide to withdraw your liquidity, you have decreased liquidity in the pool by half. That potentially doubles transaction fees to keep up with the volume. Enter DeFi 2.0. Like I've already mentioned, DeFi 2.0 is a new group of protocols that fix the weaknesses I've been ranting about. Olympus Dao is a DeFi 2.0 protocol that seeks to solve the problem of liquidity witnessed in the first generation DeFi. It makes it possible to have a sustainable long-term liquidity. Instead of renting liquidity, Olympus Dao has its own reserve currency. It works very much like central banks, only that decision-making in central banks is done by the chosen few, while in Olympus it is completely decentralized. D for decentralized. For example, when there is excess money in circulation, the central bank may issue a bond and buy the money back. Also, the central bank has mechanisms of releasing more money into circulation whenever necessary. In so doing, the currency value is stable. Olympus Dao also has its own currency called ohm. Like the dollar was once backed by gold, Olympus Dao is backed by DAI. It is working to add more currencies to its treasury. So each ohm is backed by one DAI. And the operative word here is backed and not pegged. The goal of Olympus Dao is to have one ohm always trading for one DAI, and to act when there are price fluctuations. If the price of ohm falls below one DAI such that there is excess supply, the DAO will burn the excess ohms to stabilize the price. If the value of ohm increases beyond one DAI, the DAO will mint and sell new ohms to stabilize the price. Olympus Dao ensures that it has liquidity through its native token ohm. It further ensures that the liquidity is long-term by stabilizing the value of ohm. Olympus Dao is just one aspect of DeFi 2.0. For DeFi 2.0 to address scalability issues I mentioned earlier, faster and cheaper blockchain platforms like Solana and Avalanche are used. And to improve user experience, more user-friendly interfaces are being developed. If you got value, kindly give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the comments.